That does not make any sense. So you're telling me that you had people waiting an hour and somebody that is not the SWAT that you were waiting for did everything that you were supposed to? How does that make sense? Hi guys, what's up? It's me again, Meat Puppet. Got another one for you today. Today, we're just gonna talk about the Texas shooting that has happened. A lot of things don't make any sense, so we're gonna look through Mr. Obvious. He also does almost the same thing as I do, journalist in a unique way. So he brought some interesting point that I really want to talk about. If you like the content, like, share, hit the bell notification. Don't remember to subscribe and everything. And here's the video.
We're going to go over the timeline of events. The Texas mass shooting took place in Robb Elementary School, and it was committed by the suspect, Salvador Ramos, an 18-year-old male troubled youth who went on the second largest murder spree since Sandy Hook. 19 children were killed in this horrible attack, with many others injured. Now, we have conflicting reports and almost no information about why he did it. According to ABC News, Salvador Ramos was reportedly bullied at school for his clothing because his family was poor.
Yes, I read it.
At least according to the testimony from a close friend. Now, here's where it gets weird, because I've been going over all these reports over the past few days and really digging into the story. There's so much conflicting information. Some people say that he was a drug addict, that he was getting kicked out of his home. I saw another report that said his mother was actually the drug addict and she was getting kicked out of the home.
I saw something weird about the reason that the mom kicked him out to go live with the grandma. It seems it was related to the Wi-Fi or something, that something wasn't working and then he needed the grandma to pay for the bills or something like that, and then the grandma was trying to stop him to go commit the murders or something like that. It's like, okay, there's a lot of things going on. It's like trying to understand Ukraine and Putin and everything. But it's quite clear he did not have the genuine childhood that most people would be comfortable with. And he was poor. So he had a bad start.
Saw other reports that said the mother and the son, Salvador Ramos and his mother, would often argue with each other. I think a lot of the news outlets have misreported the story and misreported the facts. In my opinion, this is what we can say for certain. Salvador Ramos had a troubled relationship with his mother. They would often fight. Yes. Salvador Ramos was not going to school and didn't see the point.
Yes, he didn't go to school the whole year, this one at least or something like that. And I believe this was like the celebration of the ending. And the only conclusion I could make is that he didn't participate, so he wanted to make sure all these kids could have fun. Because if you're having fun and I'm not, that's unfair. So everybody's gonna go with me. That is the gist that I was trying to understand if I look at him.
It is highly likely that he was mentally troubled and had issues.
He was a solo though. A lot of people confirmed that he was very solo, did not have a lot of friends, and if he was also bullied, he was kind of sad. You can even find clips of the grandfather saying that I took him sometimes on a job, but he was a silent type. He didn't talk a lot. We didn't have that open relationship. And the reason that the grandpa could not have a gun near him, because he said, I would have taken the gun, is because the grandfather had a bad past. He's not allowed to have any gun near him. That's like if you go to prison for a certain reason, bada bing, bada boom, So it's a lifestyle. In the culture, I don't care. They're poor, I don't care. But you see, it just becomes a pressure cooker that something might pop in somebody's head and they might react.
Talk about the actual timeline of events. Ramos shot his grandmother, Celia Gonzalez, before he went on a shooting rampage that left 21 people dead in total. Now, according to official recent reports, the grandmother actually survived the initial shooting. The bullet basically went in her cheek and then out through her cheek. Basically, she did not die.
We need to ask the grandma some more information, because the only thing I can find online about the mother is that he's not a monster. He just gets very angry and he can be quite aggressive. Any kids that's aggressive and he's the silent type is a danger. We need to help him mentally. And I try to tell people this. Everybody thinks I'm the bad guy. I'm like, wait. It's men's health. If somebody is in such a bad position Why don't you consider that we don't need to reach out or have a center of people trained to talk to him to make him feel accepted in a society? This happens when they feel disconnected. But I get angry, oh, you're blaming the single mother. I'm not blaming the single mothers. If a single mother is a little more stricter, maybe everything is Gucci. You can't save everything with empathy. You need to knock some sense into their head, not like physically, but you need somebody that has to tell them something in a certain way. Empathy is not always the only solution to an aggressive person, especially to an aggressive person. Usually aggressive people have to do some karate to learn certain dynamic, because you don't see disrespectful people doing taekwondo.
After this, he ran away from home and he drove toward the elementary school. He was going to shoot up the place. But this is where things get extremely frustrating for me. This is where things don't add up to. I'm talking about the circumstances that allowed the shooting to happen. So he goes out in his car, in his truck, with $4,000 worth of 2 AR-15s. Allegedly was also wearing some sort of armor, and he drove. This is despite his mother saying that he didn't actually have a driver's license. Okay, well, all that aside, he drove out to the elementary school and was reportedly chased by police. Now, initial reports said that he crashed his car into a ditch. In my opinion, this does not make sense. According to some reports, that cops had actually rammed his vehicle and ended their pursuit. So, as you can see in the screenshot, he was fairly far away from the elementary school. However, somehow, despite being chased by the cops, he was able to run all the way into the parking lot of the elementary school, where he reportedly dropped a bag full of ammunition.
That doesn't make any sense. If the dude landed over here and he has to run, and if he was chased by 2 people, were they so afraid that they didn't try to stop him? He had to run with with 1 bag. He didn't take all the weapons. But you see him fodder with what's happening? So he ran inside.
I believe he also left one of his guns in the truck. They later found it in the truck. Yeah. And he was able to stand outside, fiddling with his ammunition, loading up, while the cops literally did nothing. So first things first, it looks like the cops allowed this to happen. Just full stop. No arguments, no conspiracies, literal fact. So check this out, folks. The police were doing nothing. Uvalde police, I don't know if it's Uvalde. I assume this is a Hispanic town, so Uvalde is probably closer, I don't know. Uvalde police handcuffed and pepper sprayed the parents, who urged them to storm the school, including a dad of a murdered girl and a mom of 2 who got free.
Because I also follow a channel called Tatum, Officer Tatum. And he explained, look, man, if you arrive there, they need to call people, they need to call SWATs, they need to go in, they need to protect. Somebody has to go in with the shield. Because by what I understand is he went to a room specifically, and it was in a hallway. So anybody approaching, even if the parents went there, they would have gotten shot. So that's why they didn't go. But something is gonna not add up very soon. You'll see.
Who tried to jump a fence and rescue the kids herself. Okay, now this is a big story that's left a lot of people extremely angry, because we have multiple reports that cops tackled parents to the ground, not allowing them to go into school. And then we have reports that say that cops waited for an hour outside the school for the shooter to actually go into school, shoot a bunch of kids, kill a bunch of people. And they just waited an hour outside. Not only did they let him in the building, they waited for an hour while he murdered children.
And Officer Tatum is saying, well, he didn't confirm it, but believes that he might have murdered the kids in the beginning of that 40 minutes. He doesn't know about that hour, or at least he didn't mention it. I'll put the video in the description. You can watch it yourself. But
again, what is going on here? But it gets worse. Here on Twitter with Sawyer Hackett, here's a Texas DPS lieutenant telling a local station that some officers breached the school to get their own children before the shooter was taken down. Not only did cops allow Ramos to get in the school and shoot little children, not only did they wait an hour doing nothing, not only did they tackle and tase parents, not allowing them to save their own kids, some cops actually ran into the school to save their own kids while the parents were literally pepper sprayed and not allowed to save their own kids.
I thought that was kind of weird though. really weird. I would believe that maybe they saw, okay, he has a gun. If we go there, he's going to shoot us. He has more firepower. Let's go save as many kids as we can to balance the situation. But if somebody from the lieutenant, from the cops, says they went mainly for their own children and they took all the extra people in that specific room, because the kid just walked into the door. It wasn't locked. It wasn't anything. He was just having fun. It was open season, and they say there was like no cops at the school. They're gonna describe it very soon. There were two. They were shooting, bada bing bam boom, but they ran away.
That's really what I want to get at here. The cops were cowards. Cowards, little sissies, little B words, so many words.
I think cops are not trained for this situation. They're not trained to shoot kids. But I'm like, maybe when somebody starts shooting at you, maybe think a little more. Well, yeah, if you think about your kids, you're gonna be like, yikes, I don't want to die. But then again, you're going to get the salary. You're supposed to do specific things, and we expect that you protect us. Because if you're not gonna protect us, I'm not gonna give my weapon away. That's the way people in Texas is gonna think. I mean, it makes sense. I would never give my weapon away if I can't keep my safe. If the government cannot keep my son safe and they have all these rules and everything, and people keep bending the rule for themselves. Because there's a parents that wanted to go in, you didn't allow him, and now the daughter is dead because you were waiting 1 hour for the SWAT to come by. I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but you have to have a plan B that kinda helps the kids. There has to be a plan, because if you're telling me that we always have to wait 1 hour or 40 minutes for the SWAT to arrive, I think that's a little too late. There has to be a plan B, or you start teaching the teachers how to shoot.
For pathetic, sissy cowards. They allowed these children to die. Now we got a post here, and I'm just going to read it to you. Gunman shoots grandma. Gunman crashes truck in a ditch and shoots at people. Stands outside the school for 12 minutes, shooting rounds with no interference.
Yep, that happened. I saw some clips. Somebody was recording him going into the school. That's what you see. And people say, why did nobody call the cops? I think they called the cops, but the cops waited outside. That's the problem. It's not calling the cops. If they're not going in, hey, nobody's gonna get saved though.
Walks inside the school through an unlocked backyard. Shoots at 2 cops or guards who show up inside the hallway. The cops run away. The gunman walks into a classroom, starts shooting kids. 100 cops show up, taking out their own kids, while the shooter slaughters the classroom. An hour passes. He is allowed to continue to kill. Police mace, tase, and block parents from trying to get inside. An off-duty patrol border agent goes in the building and shoots Salvador Ramos. What the actual F?
An off-duty border patrol agent goes in by himself with a key. Why do you need a key to open the door when you have rifles and hundreds of men? Kills the gunman. He kills the gunman. That does not make any sense. So you're telling me that you had people waiting an hour, and somebody that is not the SWAT that you were waiting for did everything that you were supposed to? How does that make sense? How does that make sense? I know, man.
I think it's really simple, folks, at the end of the day. Salvador Ramos was a troubled youth. He had been in prison 3 times on misdemeanors, spending an upward of 180 days in prison. Salvador Ramos was a known problem to the feds, the FBI, other federal agents, I imagine. They did nothing. They did nothing. Salvador Ramos worked at Wendy's. He came from a poor family. Possibly due to drug use, he may have not had much money. But somehow, he was able to afford $4,000 worth of AR-15s.
Where did you get the money?
At least $1,000 in ammunition, allegedly a vest, and perhaps a truck. Many people question, where did he get all the money? Many people question, he ordered the guns online and then got them 2 days later?
How can the feds know that you're a troubled person? You can post things on Facebook and Instagram about weapons, and that doesn't trigger an alarm. And I can go on Facebook and everything, put a vaccine thing, talk about feminism or LGBTQ, and everybody is on the post trying to fact check me. I think that's enough for the video. I think I'm getting my point across. I think you understand where I'm coming from. And Mr. Orbis is a quite cool dude. Support him. I put the link also in the description. And yeah, what can I say? What can I say? Wait a second, I forgot one thing.
In a truly shocking turn of events, it may also be that the Buffalo and Texas shooter may have been in the same Discord groups and same Telegram groups. My friends, I have the shocking screenshots and some details that you probably haven't heard.
So if that is the truth, that would mean that certain people are trying to make these kids more aggressive in secret. That is why you have to be there for your kids. I put some opinions that I thought we need more fathers at home to balance the whole situation, that I communicate with the kid. People were getting angry at me, and I'm like, wait a second. You're telling me that a kid that's a loner, that goes to prison, is not happy, does not need a father figure in their life? Or the real father anyway? You're saying that, yeah, well, you're shaming them. I'm not shaming the mothers. There's plenty of mothers that do amazing job doing the both jobs, father and mother. But sadly, sometimes it's not enough, especially if the mother also has different issue and she can't balance her life. Right? So that is what I'm saying. We need to help mothers have father figures in their life. It's not that you can't do the job. It's just that you can't tag team. I'll take a break and you help me out a little. But I can't look at one woman saying that she's perfect 24/7, uphold her as a super gem, and then be like, I'm not allowed to call her out when something bad happens, because then she's going to say, you don't understand the hard life of a single mother. Then I'm like, wait, weren't you perfect? Or you were not. It's confusing. Anyway, I think I'm talking enough. Video a little too long. But I just wanted to make that point and let you guys know. So, like, share the usual. You know how YouTube is kind of special. And see you guys next time. Peace.